If you see this, run and call the police immediately. You've just returned from a relaxing 2-week vacation, you've got lots of good resolutions for the new school year, but as soon as you get to the door of your house, you notice something very strange. A crossed-out circle is drawn with chalk on your door. You are immediately very worried, and you alert the police. And you are right to do so, because if you had delayed for 2 more days, you would have found an empty house when you returned. In fact, these chalk drawings are made by burglars who use these codes as burglary techniques. These markings are communication techniques between burglars to let each other know which properties are easier to break into and which ones to avoid. Each design conveys a message: alarmed house, previously burglarized house, good target, rich owners, vulnerable owners, well-guarded house, or even funnier, nothing worth the risk. The symbols are various and changeable over time. Unfortunately, you won't know what was going to happen to your house if you didn't come home at the right time. However, you can now opt for a highly developed and foolproof security system. The advantage is that you are warned now. You are a tourist in Paris. You are planning to spend a few days there, and today you want to take a walk in the city alone, to walk its streets, to admire the landscapes, to see the passers-by. You have walked for 3 hours, and to rest, you sit on a bench, leaning against a stone wall. But something disturbs you at the level of your back. You turn around to see what it is, and there you are struck by something incredible. A USB key seems to have been planted in the wall, and there is only its tip that comes out. You think it must be a kid who stuck it in to play with it, but it's not. I'll tell you what it is. Born in 2010 in New York, the dead drops phenomenon has since spread to Europe to arrive in Paris, Barcelona, and London. It's basically USB keys hidden and embedded in city walls, in order to exchange secret data anonymously. Who does this? Well, it's spies and secret agents who use this technique without having to meet physically, which reduces the risk of being caught. It's so cold that you want to move, but don't be paranoid. They won't know anything about you when you're leaning on that USB key. Anyway, you don't want to stay here anymore. You continue your walk. You come back from a long weekend in the South and you only want to rest from your long trip. You arrive at the bottom of your door, but when you step on your mat to get in, you hear a crunching sound under your feet. You lift the mat and discover a crumbling cookie. How odd! You don't remember putting cookies under your mat, and then you have no reason to do so. So listen carefully to what I'm about to say. Call the police right away, because your house is a target for burglars, who have certainly noticed your absence. This technique consists of placing a cookie under the mat and waiting several days. If the cookie is untouched, it means that no one has been in the house for a while, so the way is clear for burglary. You panic and call the police. Now you'll just have to be very convincing on the phone when you tell them that it was a cookie that made you realize that your house was going to be burglarized. And it's not going to be a piece of cake, that's for sure. Anyway, you are now warned from now on you will have to be more careful and not leave your home for too long. You're out with your girlfriends in a trendy club, and at some point you get a craving. You head to the bathroom, do what you have to do, but on your way out the lights have automatically turned off and you've discovered something terrible. The mirrors in the bathroom are actually tinted windows. In fact, the girls who use these toilets are all tricked by these fake mirrors. They think it's a mirror, but it's actually a tinted window that reflects their reflection but also lets them see through it. And it's only because the lights went out that you noticed. Because when they're on, you can't see through them. And since these toilets are always full, the lights rarely go out. So what happened to you was an incredible combination of circumstances. You are anxious at the very thought of those windows looking directly into the men's room. You are even angry, and you think of complaining to the owner of this club. In any case, you will never set foot in that place again. It's decided. You have just landed in Barcelona with your boyfriend and you have booked a room at a modest hotel located not far from the airport, just to spend the first night there before going to a more luxurious hotel the next day. But once you've packed your bags, your boyfriend reports that the room is being spied on. You think it's an absurd idea, but he immediately pulls out the hard evidence. He quickly noticed that in the frame of the picture hanging on the wall, there was a camera. You approach it and are shocked to discover that he was in fact quite right. This camera was probably placed by a perverted voyeur who came into the room before you in order to spy on people in intimate positions. Peeping Toms place these cameras in air conditioning grills, flower pots, or even in toilets. This is unfortunately a very common phenomenon in low-rated hotels. You were totally taken aback. You can't believe your eyes. You quickly pack up your suitcase and leave the place in no time. Now you find yourself on the street, luggage in hand, and without accommodation for the night. But at least no one is spying on your privacy. It's been 3 days since you've set foot outside, and since the weather is nice today, you feel like having a picnic in the park. When you go out, you discover that a huge package has been delivered and left at the door. It's strange, but you're sure you didn't order anything. And what's more, when you pick it up, you discover it's empty. You'd better take the package inside, because if you leave it there, people will soon realize that your house is unoccupied, which will please the burglars. In fact, this package was put there by a burglar who thought your house was empty since you haven't been out for several days. If the package stays where it is, they'll realize that the coast is clear. But if you get rid of it, they'll be deterred. You're terrified that you've come so close to being invaded during your little solitary retreat. It was a close call. All in all, one more day at home won't hurt. At least you'll be sure that no one will come and rob you. Imagine yourself now in 2020. You've been confined to your home for a month now, like the rest of the world, and you need to think about paying your bills. As luck would have it, you just received a text message from your phone company inviting you to pay your bills online. It's strange. They've never done it this way. But since it's a force majeure, you comply. You are then directed to your bank's page where you start entering your bank details and data. Stop it. These SMS are fraudulent. They were designed by a group of scammers who took advantage of the containment situation to rob people of their money and empty their accounts. They have created platforms that look like official bank or online shopping sites. The less cautious could easily fall into their traps. This adds more anxiety to the unpleasant situation you already experiencing like everyone else. Fortunately, you haven't written anything down yet, and your data is still protected. That will teach you to be more careful next time. You're shopping in one of the biggest outlets in England, and you're looking for some great pieces for this summer. Once in your fitting room, you take off your clothes and hang them on a hook to try on your little selection of dresses. But then, the hook falls off, and so do the clothes. You try to hang it back on the wall, but it's strange. There is no nail to maintain it. You understand better why it did not hold under the weight of your clothes. What you can't understand is why it is in the cabin if it can't be used. Let me answer that. This hook is actually a secret gadget purchased on Amazon, which contains a tiny, hidden camera. It was probably placed by someone, pervert, to spy on young girls in their dressing room and see them naked. This plague, which appeared some time ago in England, is a crime punishable by 2 years in prison for its perpetrator. You are shocked at the idea that someone is watching you right now while you are in your underwear. You quickly get dressed and run out of the outlet. You don't feel like shopping anymore. After all, a good day at the beach will do you so much more good. You've just had a busy day of appointments, and the first thing you think about when you get behind the wheel of your car is the bath you'll be taking when you get home. Once you arrive, you park your car in the driveway, and your instinct is to walk around the car to make sure it's not scratched. And then, you're shocked. You notice that a 20-cent coin has been inserted in the small crack on the passenger door handle. At first, you think it must be a child playing in front of your car, but it's not. You remove it, and once you are home, you inform your best friend, who is a police officer. He tells you that this is the latest technique developed by car burglars. The goal is to insert a part so that the door locking system does not engage once you press the remote control, and that once you are away from your vehicle, the thief who is watching you from afar opens the door and steals the car. You are stunned, not shocked, not flabbergasted by what you learned, but you are glad you removed the part before your car was stolen. I know someone who will walk around his car every time he gets in. Now, tell us in the comments if you knew about these things. And don't forget to subscribe and click here to watch another of our videos.